Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Preaching Corner. I'm Harvey. It has been quite some time since I made an episode. If you can excuse my voice, I currently have laryngitis, so that's why I sound a little bit off. But anywho, today we'll be talking about the movie Risen, and there actually are a few pagan elements in the movie that I recognize. So sit back and enjoy this journey that we're about to take together.
Brothers,
I go to prepare a place for you. Go into all the world and preach the gospel to all nations. You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. And know that I will be with you always.
Lord,
Okay, there are actually a few things that are wrong with this clip. As you can blatantly see, Jesus was merging with the Son, and we clearly see in Scripture. Let's take it to Acts 1:9 all the way to 1:11, I think it is. And when he said these things, as they were looking on, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him out of their sight. And while they were gazing into heaven as he went, behold, two men stood by them in white robes, and said, Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking into heaven? This Jesus who was taken up from you into heaven will come in the same way as they saw him go into heaven. There have been a lot of critics who've liked to use comparing Jesus to actually sun gods and sun worship, and that's something that clearly stood out to me, and that's why I'm pointing this out in this movie. We're not only in the ascension scene, but also when Jesus rises again. I actually had issues finding that clip, but if you actually watch the movie, you see when Jesus is resurrected, he appears in the sun. One of the more common, comparisons people love to use is the one between Christ and Horus. And one of the big ones I've actually really noticed is the one about Horus's crucifixion. Let me read something I found. Horus is not reported to have died in all the vast majority of Egypt narratives. There is also no crucifixion story. Instead, Horus is usually described as eventually merging with Ra, the sun god. And as you see in this story, Jesus is not ascending into heaven. He's merging with the sun. There's a bright light, and he's merging with the sun. And as you look at it, the camera pans back to his disciples, and then it pans back to the sun again. The sun is ascending. It's rising up, trying to compare Jesus to Horus.
You will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth. And know that I will be with you always.
Of course, a picture like this is super famous because you've always seen pictures of Christ, like a depiction of Christ, and he always has like a halo, the sun wrapped around his head. I mean, of course, in the Bible, there's no mention of halos at all. And I just want to give you a brief description, or let's go down this, because honestly, this whole topic of a halo and actually sun worship is such a huge topic that we can talk about it all day. But I would encourage you to actually go out and do your own research. But here's a little something that I found. According to ancient Greek history, a halo was used to describe a circle of lights around the head of heroes of ancient Greece. In ancient Greece, many spiritual characters were depicted with a halo, such as Perseus, Lysa, figure of madness, Sphinx, which is a sea demon, Thetis, the sea nymph, and the sun god, Halos. Most of the Greek gods were not depicted with a halo. The only Greek god who were depicted with a halo was Helios, goddess of dawn. And again, if we keep on reading, the halo originated from the pre-Islamic Iranian faith of Zoroastrianism. They believed in the idea of pharaoh of divine favor. The favor was represented by a ring of Hervine, which was given to the king by their gods. But the king displeased the god, it was taken away. The ring was guarded by the god Mitreus, who was the god of daylight. I mean, I can go on and on and on. There are so many accounts of these, of small g gods who have halos, or it's always associated with the sun. It's sun worship. And yeah, this is something that really stuck out to me and bothered me. It just bothered my spirit. Stuff like that. Like the movie overall Risen, it's okay. But again, the enemy is going to put in small tears. I mean, the movie can be, let's say, 90% good. But if it's that 10% that is wrong, I just think you should totally throw it out. I mean, again, that's for your own discernment and your own thought. This is just something I want you to think about. But there actually were a few verses that came to mind that we see in Hosea 4:6. It says, "My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge." And of course, a video like this, people will put me down or call me a hater. Oh, the movie's good, or you're just seeing something that's not really there, and I just call their baloney. Because I mean, it's like you have like a jug of water, and you see somebody take, one of those eye droplets. They can take out the medicine and put in your eye. And you see somebody take like a droplet of a pee and put it in the water and stir it up. The water looks clean, but are you gonna drink it? Because there's a small drop of pee in there. It looks fine, but there's something wrong with it. So, of course, you're not going to drink it. It doesn't make any sense because there's pee in that water. I mean, the same thing goes with the things we watch on TV or the things we listen to. It could be 90% good, but it has that small part of garbage. I honestly think we should just throw it out and not listen to it, not let it enter our minds. Of course, because you have the enemy who has begun to infiltrate the church, has infiltrated the church, and is slowly putting tears here and there, small things. I mean, if the devil came all out all at once, people would say no, they would turn away. But no, he's slowly infiltrating the church. It's like boiling a frog. If you turn the water all the way up to boil, that frog's going to jump onto that pot. But no, if you slowly turn it up degree by degree by degree, that frog's going to stay in there until eventually it dies from being boiled alive. And I see the same thing happening to the church currently. So I would encourage you people, do your research, learn about the things you watch, and yeah, keep your minds pure. Until next time, brothers and sisters, see ya.